Hey guys, GameBoy3800 here, once again back with the Vrm X7200, not P57AWM, but whatever. And I decided that I'm still going to upgrade this as best I can, and we're going to do that by flipping it over to see that I've already removed the annoying to remove battery, and we are going to be upgrading two components today, the processor and the video card, the two big pieces of a computer. So I'm not going to waste any time, we're going to be hopping straight into it. And I will show you what parts I have to upgrade as the time comes. There we go. That's why it's good to have a magnetic screwdriver. Even if it's not the right size, you can just have one to help get the screws out either way. Like that. So now we should be able to, yep. There's one piece of broken plastic here, unfortunately, but if I put it in place after it's screwed down, it does stay put, so that's nice. Also, I removed the metal grill over the fan here because it completely covers it. This is the Vrm fan. That's one of the most important fans to have. So, like, why would you block that off? That's stupid. If someone at Clevo is somehow watching this, I hope you got fired for this. Alright. I have two boxes here. One has a video card, one has a processor. I'm just going to take them out now, for the sake of taking them out. Here we are, processor. And this one will be a tad bit harder to get out, because it's taped and it has some sticky material holding it together here. There we go. Alright, so here's the video card. You can't tell what it is, to keep it a secret. Want to know what it is? Watch the video. Or not. Whatever. I'm going to turn it around here so I can see the processor side up here. I'll move the machine down a bit for you to see as well. And as far as I can tell, I just need to undo these 4 or 5 screws here and then the chipset screws. This fan will stay in place, and this fan will come with it. Now we got to do the chipset screws over here. And that should be it. Let's go ahead and give it a tug. Am I missing something anywhere? This screw. It seems like it should be it. There we go. Yay. Alright. I did go ahead and open this up before so that I could take a look at the thermal pads and the thermal compound on the processor. Now you may be able to tell the war zone that was the previous cleaning. It had like 5 coats of like 3 horrible different things. I gotta replace those. That's a still okay one. That one's turbo dyed. I gotta find my blue pads. I have some more left, but I don't know where I've put them. Alright, either way, now is the time for the processor. Let's go ahead and rip it open. Now this was sent very well packed, so props to that seller. Now, unlike Project Envy, this processor is 100% officially supported, as in, it's actually on the original specification website as supported. You could configure this machine with this processor here. The chip we're replacing today is an old i7-930. It's a good chip, but for the speed and power it gives versus the power draw, it is not worth it, especially once you consider you can get one of these Xeon chips for about $70. So it's not too expensive. It's not cheap, but it's not too expensive either. I don't have a safe place to put this. Just toss it on the table. Should be fine. So yes, this is a LGA, what is it, 1366? And yeah, it's a 1366 laptop. I'm trying to find the gold triangle here. Oh, well, I guess there's only one way to find it. Toss the heat sinks aside. I don't want to... Okay, I can do that. Oh, some thermal compound or grease got on the pins themselves, so I don't want to shut the CPU down on that. I'm going to turn on my air compressor to see if I can't get some of that out. So I'm just going to cut here because air compressor is very loud. Alright, I got it out. The air compressor did not get it out, not even 75 pounds of air, but I did use a wall tic-tac thing to poke it, and that seems to have solved the issue. I'm going to go ahead and toss the CPU in there now, give it a tiny wiggle, and retention clip right back down. I like 1366 a lot because it is so simple. And we are going to go ahead and clean off the CPU now. I have some rubbing alcohol and toilet paper and, what do you call it, and microfiber cloth. I was going to call it an anti-static cloth, but that's not technically correct, but whatever. I use 91% alcohol. You can use 99 or like 86 or lower. It doesn't matter, as long as you get a real smooth and clean surface here, it'll be fine. I think that's some residue from around from one of the old thermal paste applications, but oh well, it's pretty clean. And if it wasn't, then it certainly is now. For whatever reason, the retention arm has the word Molex written on it. Molex is a type of power connector. I don't know why it's on a CPU socket. Is that the actual company? That's just gotten me confused. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the Vrm stuff here. Some of these are still good. Like, most of these are still pretty good here. But the ones that are, like, up here do need to be replaced. So, like, that one is super dead. Go ahead and put a new one, or a less used one there. And then this old one here, which is actually, I think, a new one, was just too big and kind of fell off as I took it off. And that was there. Is there anything else around? Because there is another piece here. Because that's got that. Those are all aligned. I don't know where this one came from. That's not a good sign. How many stages is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phase. Okay. So, like, not too bad. It could be like an 8 phase for the time, because I think that's what my EVGA board has for Project Envy. But yeah. I don't know. I'll leave that off and put the bigger one there, so that that will align with going on to this choke there. Choke, I don't know my power phase components quite as well as like Steve or whatever his name is from Gamers Nexus, but yeah. Oh, I gotta 1, take off that thermal paste and clean it, and 2, be ready to put a new layer onto the CPU. CPU is by far going to be the easier job today. Because it's kind of straightforward. It's just you take it off and clean it, and then put a new thing in. GPU is in like a separate bracket. It's going to have retention arms. It's going to have an X bracket. I'm not sure what the underside of that part of the board will look like. So yeah. Yeah, I had done my research on a P570WM. This is not what I researched. It's similar enough, like most of the procedures you can carry over, but I know that for this machine, you can take a look all you want. There's no memory under the main compartment. However, on the other unit, the P570WM, I believe the memory would be like right up here someplace. Or at least some of the memory would be there. On this X7200 machine, it is all underneath the keyboard. Get it squeaky clean. I probably will upgrade the memory later, but right now, I want to see how we do here. It looks like everything aligns. Like, I guess it doesn't 100% matter either way, because even some desktop motherboards don't have these chokes covered. Like I remember on my ASRock A350M for AMD Ryzen system I built up, it didn't have any heatsink on the power phases. It did have one on the chipset though, so yeah. I guess let's just go ahead and toss on the thermal paste and see what happens. I'm going to do a line method here. Because it's a little bit more surface area than an 1151 socket. It's a lot more surface area than a laptop part. And yeah. Let's hope for the best. I put them all down little by little. For a good, smooth, and accurate spread. Do not over tighten these screws, because if you break a standoff, that's a big problem on a laptop. On a desktop it's kind of whatever, because you can just get a new bracket for behind the board if it's AMD Ryzen or Intel 1151 or whatever. But for a laptop like this, you don't want that. You probably could get away with it with a lower power chip, but this is a 130 watt processor. It's not gonna be cool. Right now, oh great, put these screws on, I screwed these screws down on top of one of the cables here. There we go. This will probably prove to be annoying getting those fan headers and temperature sensors back plugged in, so I'll be right back with you. Alright, that's the processor done, hopefully. Hopefully we don't run into any kind of explodey bits here. Now we're going to work on the video card. I have never taken a video card out of a machine like this. Closest I've ever done is closest I've ever had is a D900C. Or D901C, and that was not the same, because I never took out a video card for that. Oh, that's just for the fan. Right. Back in you go. Back in you go. Hopefully. There we go. I gotta take a good look at this. 1, 2. Oh. Looks to me like I do need to take off the fan, so undo this, undo, redo, undo, whatever. Take it back off. see. Yep. They are underneath. Can I even get my screwdriver down there? Yes, I can. It's a guessing thing. It's a guessing game, though. Once again, think the magnetic screwdriver. Now, there we go. Gonna leave the heatsink here. Any screws holding this down? Yes, there are. That's a weird spot for an SLI connector. Looks like you need to snake the SLI cable underneath or something. We are not going to be worrying about SLI today though, so not an issue for me. That comes out nice and slow like. And good, it's already got some heat pads there. Now this is a GTX 560M, 2 gigs of memory. Yeah, pretty good old card. I do need the X bracket out of it though. To get the X bracket, I'm just using a small screwdriver and pushing on the ends here. It's not going to hurt the card. I've done it before. Or if it is going to hurt the card, this card is not going to be used anymore. There we go, X bracket off. Card can go on top of another video card over there. Alright, I saved most of the sticky bit. That's good. Now we can open up the new video card. It's much more powerful. This is an NVIDIA 980M. So yep, this X bracket should still work. There we go, like a glove. Alright, now this is by far one of the easiest jobs of a video card install I've ever done. Now, so I have the pads for the memory on the back here, but do I need these ones up here? It does not seem like it. Um, 560 has a small thing up at the top. The NVIDIA has a few tiny things at the top. Did I call that NVIDIA? I don't know why I called it NVIDIA, because they're both NVIDIA cards. Alright, just gonna do that, hope it works. I don't think they even need to have anything on them anyways, but you never know. So yeah, this is an 8GB NVIDIA 980M. I believe you can also find a 1060 that would fit this because it won't have any extra power connectors. But don't quote me on that because it said to only be for the P570 unit. Alright, so now we've got to clean out the heatsink and the thing here. Looks like I'm going to need to get some more thermal pads anyways, because this does have more chokes at the seams, or power faces. Whatever. Overall, other than the little bit of thermal grease getting stuck in the CPU socket, this upgrade has been super straightforward. I do not know how plugging it or screwing the things back in will go because they were kind of in a weird spot. Just gonna clean the GPU die, make sure it's good and squeaky clean. Had a tiny bit of residue on it, not much though. It wouldn't have affected anything. There we go. Now, let's wipe this off. It seems like this machine has had both its video cards and processor opened up and looked at several times. Mostly the processor, because the processor had a good 5 extra coats of thermal grease for whatever reason. Your day is not complete until you get thermal grease on your hands. Like, there's so much on this. Like, video cards themselves don't need much anyways, because it's not a whole heat spreader. It's just a small die. But come on, that's getting absurd. There we go, that's starting to look pretty clean. Now that I think of it, I really should have done some stock benchmarks to see what kind of improvements we will get. Because the only kind of thing I even tested was YouTube playback for now. And at 4K, we're struggling. I'll just say that. Because I did use DSR to go ahead and get the resolution of the screen up to 4K. And that seems to have been a strong test for the 560. Hopefully it won't be one for the 980 here. Right now, I am on the hunt for more thermal pads. I have an old Clevo video card thing here. Can put one on that. wait a minute. Okay, it looks like it'll still work, because this has some, see at the very top, there's 2 sets of 3 chips. I was worried that this part of the heatsink comes down too much and it'll clip onto the choke or whatever. But it seems like it's also got some of those black things up top to cool anyways. I really want to save these cards here. Or these thermal pads, but it looks like they're too far gone. If I try to take them off and move them, they will disintegrate. So, I've got to salvage from something else. I've got good news and bad news. Actually, it's a lot of bad news. Bad news is I can't find anything, and the more bad news is I still can't find anything. If only I had kept track of where I put my thing. I have very thin ones here that may or may not work. You can probably see what I've done there. Yeah, these pads are long gone. I'll scrape them off with something here. I'm using a PCI bracket slot thing cover here. Trying to see if that'll do us good. And that's all the things covered from this old video card bracket here. So in theory, now we can start putting the thing back together. Let's just go ahead and check here. Yep, that seems good. Like these went on there. You can see where they were. looks like everything will be aligned fine. Just trying to look to see if there's anything else I can do here. Or if there's anything else I need to do here. Doesn't look it. Let's go ahead and put a small dab of thermal grease on there. And once again, hope for the best. It's maybe a bit big, but whatever. Arctic Silver 5 is not thermally conductive, unlike what some people have said in my comments. If you have somehow gotten Arctic Silver 5 thermally conductive, then you're using way, way too much thermal paste. Why would they put this thing here? It's so hard to align. Maybe one screw at a time, not screwing it all the way down, but enough to catch. Alright, let's finish off all the screws. And there we go. Time to put the fan back in. Taking out the fan screw so that I can orientate the fan correctly and get the header back in first before anything else. Yep, this will be annoying. I'll be right back. Alright, fan is in place. Time for the screws. Or it's not in place really, it's just got the fan header plugged in. And that is mission complete. Everything's back together. Yeah, it was easy. Took a little while, but it was easy. Bottom panel, why you do this? I'll get this screwed up and power on now. Alright, here we are. machine's fully back together. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And let's see. Will we get video? What message will we get if we do get video? These are all questions that need to be answered. If it'll give us a beep, it'll be a sign that we did something right. Try it again. Get a hard drive light read for a second. No, we are not posting. Now, is it because of the CPU or the GPU? Yeah, we're not posting here. And I don't know why. If it would give a beep, but not show video, that would be the video card. But if we're not posting, that could be the processor. Or worse, the CPU socket. Oh dear. I have not had good luck with getting these Xeon chips, have I? I had, I think the same unit. No, not the same unit. This is an X5680. I had like a W55 something. Tried to go in Project Envy, and that had no display or picture or anything. Now I put in an X5860 or 80, and no picture. Right. I'm going to try throwing in the old CPU. Maybe what I need to do is update the BIOS to support that CPU. Right, I'm not going to make you sit through the whole repair thing, so I'll get right back to you whenever. Alright, I've just put it all back together. Let's go ahead, get it down, open the screen, and the machine will not power up on battery power alone if you have taken out the battery, so it does need to be plugged in. And I want it to be plugged in to support as much power to the video card as possible. Because I think this would use more video card power. So the original CPU is back in. Come on, give us a beep. Stop doing this. Why? Don't know why it's not posting. 1080 should work, right? This was a 1080 that could only be used in single slot though, or single card configurations, because it did not have an SLI finger. I don't know. I just don't know here. Oh well. I'll see if I can get it to show anything again with the original video card. Not sure how that's going to go since I'm using not the stock thermal pads. Alright, I'm going to order some thermal pads and see where we can go from there. I guess if you enjoyed, then please go ahead and leave a like, favorite, comment, share it, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well. Thanks, Gameboy out. I'll see you in the future. After some tedious work, I put the original video card back in and the new Xeon chip. Because I read that this may be an MSI GTX 980M, and MSI cards do not work in Clevo cards for whatever reason. We're waiting for a beep. Or I guess no beep. Okay. There's the beep. Yay! I'm going to go ahead and let it boot into Windows 8.1 and see if it'll... Oh. Wonder what that was about. Hello? I don't know what fan that is. I think that's the CPU fan. 560M. Everything's on. It's not getting to a state where it can recognize the processor. That's strange. Okay, I guess. Alright, let's have you not kill yourself in the middle of booting up. And that will be the ideal situation. So, it was a video card. This must be like a 980M from a MSI card, or MSI laptop. For whatever reason, Clevo machines do not like these. It's a shame too, I really wanted to use this. And since I'm going to be using it in... Well, I would get more Clevo machines. I cannot use this, so I'm just going to resell this. I only got it for $300, so if I can sell it for $500, then hey! Maximum profit. Alright. Will you shut down again, or will you get to the login screen? There we go. It's gotten to the desktop. It's taking a while to load things. I wonder what's up there. I'm just going to let it boot. I'm going to open up Task Manager to see if it's working here. It's definitely going to want to restart after having a new CPU installed, so... we'll just go ahead and do that. What? X5860? Is that really only a quad-core piece? Or, I don't know, that's 12. Yeah, I'm stupid. There we go. Yeah, it's working. Yep. It's working. I don't know why I thought it was quad-core. I'm going to blame it for being 2 in the morning and I'm tired. There we go. Yep, it works. Just not with this video card. Bummer, but oh well, what are you going to do? Now, if you guys enjoyed this short update video, then please go ahead and leave a like, favorite, comment, share, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well. Thanks, Game Boy Out. I will see you in the future.